Hi, Coach Jen here.
And Coach Daryl.
Now, Coach Daryl, why do we buy investment property, and why do we coach our students into buying investment property?
Probably one of the big things, Jen, is the fact that you get a great capital growth. Over a period of time, the property will virtually double in value. So from a point of view of why would you actually own a property, it's the fact that properties go up in value like that all the time. So
you will get greater capital growth in the bigger areas like the cities, Auckland, Wellington, Hamilton, and the bigger towns.
Right.
The smaller regions, grows at a slower rate, but it's still good.
Yeah, so you can pretty much say that property would probably double in value every 7 to 10 years in most regions, but you probably would see a bigger, perhaps, growth in Auckland. So the other thing about owning a property is if you can buy the right type of investment property, you can actually get a passive income off it. Now, what is a passive income? A passive income is when all your expenses are paid. So from the rent, once your mortgage, your rates, your insurance, your property management's paid for, you actually get money, surplus money coming off that property. That is a positive cash flow property. Now, I've always been advising our clients that they should have positive cash flow. Now, what would be the main reason, Jen, that you'd want to do that?
Well, just in case something happened in your family, something happened to your job, and all of a sudden you couldn't pay your mortgage, that would be a problem. And it also holds you up on buying more property. The more negative gear property that you get, the less you'll be able to buy. So the more positive geared, the more property you'll be able to buy. So we always coach that. We like to coach safety, and we coach our clients exactly how to do that, and we can coach you how to do that as well.
So Jen just touched in on about serviceability. Now, a big thing in buying property these days is serviceability, and the being positive cash flow, serviceability is when you, as Jen said, had to top up your mortgage. If you eat into your serviceability, then it actually can hinder you in buying more property. So very important that you keep yourself on these lines. Now, the other big thing I see with property, which you don't be able to do with perhaps shares or anything else, is you can actually leverage against it. So if you own your existing perhaps home and you've got equity in your home, you can actually use that equity in your home to buy an investment property. And not a lot of people realise that you can do this.
Well, we have clients that have come to us that had no clue that they could do it, and they don't actually understand what it means. So they came to us, they had equity in their property, and they've gone on to buy more properties because of the amount of equity. Can you explain a little bit about what equity is?
So equity in property is, as your capital growth grows in your property, from what you paid for it, then you suddenly get this equity built into your property. So it's when the property actually goes up in value and becomes worth more, that is what we call equity. Now that equity can be used as a deposit to buy your next investment property. And if you buy the right investment property, you can virtually do a deal with no money down. Because if you've got enough equity in your own home, then that can be your deposit to buy your property. And then if it's cash flow positive, so if the rent coming off that property goes into that property, well, you can virtually buy it for $0.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Really cool.
What you don't know, you don't know.
Don't know, that's right. Another great thing about property is, you're in control of it. You see it, it's yours, you can touch it.
Bricks and mortar portfolio.
Bricks and mortar portfolio, exactly. And being in control of it is quite a good thing because, you can decide what you're going to do with that property. You can decide whether you're going to buy it and rent it just as it is. You might decide that you want to renovate it before you rent it. So yeah, you actually have in control of what you're doing. And so
that's amazing.
It's a lot better than perhaps investing your money somewhere else where you actually lose control of your money and somebody else is looking after it for you.
So for that reason, we actually like to buy a full section, not something that we're sharing with another person or cross lease, but we actually like our own section. So we have choices later on. Once we've found out what the zoning is and stuff like that, we have choices to do things with that property.
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, there's numerous strategies you can use, isn't there, when
Mm.
you purchase property? You can buy them and trade them to make cash, and you
That's
can use
flipping.
you can use that cash to use for deposits for buying your rentals.
Mm.
But if you purchase a property and you renovate it, by renovating that property, you actually create equity in that property from day one. So by doing a minimalistic renovation, which could be 40, 50, 60,000, you can create another $120,000, $130,000 worth of equity into that property. And by doing that, you've suddenly then got equity to move into your next rental. So that can be a
Very
great
good.
thing. Or you probably maybe even want to recycle some of your money back, because if you've done the renovation, it'd be good to get that cash back in your bank to do the next job. So there's various strategies you can do with property. It's not just a cut and dry one thing. And as Jen said earlier, the land banking side of it, after 10 years, that property's doubled in value. You can actually use the equity in that property then to perhaps build a new house on the back if there's enough room. And that would obviously increase the passive income that you'd get off that property.
Or put a removable.
Yeah,
or remove the house and put several houses.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It just becomes, a no-brainer that you'd want to